extravaganza here on Balls.ie. We're here as always on Facebook Live trying out a Sporkle quiz. This week we're going to try and name every All-Star of the 1990s, but we've got a very special guest joining myself and Mick. We've got Jason Sherlock, who's celebrating the release of his autobiography, Jayo. Jayo, this is your first Sporkle quiz, I believe, but
yeah, and I was only 15, I think, in 1990, so I'm not too sure how
I was only born in 1990,
so we're under pressure straight away.
I was 5, but it's all on YouTube and stuff anyway, so...
Well, I know I didn't get one, but I'm not bitter.
And look, that's what we were going to say. So we were reading the book, come across the fact that Jason Sherlock, the superstar of the GEA who broke through in 1995, didn't win an All-Star that year. When you basically won the All-Ireland on your own for Dublin.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
But that shocked us, actually, joking aside, we were very surprised when we were saying, who did win it instead of you? And we were like, I know, sure, look, we'll find out when we
let's try and guess them.
Well, I know now.
You know the full forward line. 95. Did you enjoy writing the book, going back over the years?
Yeah, it was great. At this time, my life as well, like it was trying to make sense of my childhood, kind of my sport, post-sport, kind of making it relevant and making it in a positive kind of spin on it. So that was great to be able to go through that process. So a lot of highs, a lot of lows, a lot of good times, a lot of bad times. But overall, I'd like to think it's an enjoyable read and a good story. It
absolutely is an enjoyable read. And one of the things that if you say it's like sport and personal, and sort of a lot of those are kind of intertwined as well. But the Jayo Mania part of the book, as we were kind of talking about there, 95, I was saying, like, one of the more interesting things, I think we'll talk about it a little bit more, is kind of how you kind of came out of that and became borderline obsessed with winning the second All-Ireland with Dublin. But there were some kind of interesting stories, and I wouldn't say all bad by any means, from the Jayo Mania years. Tell us about your encounter with Wesley Snipes.
Wesley, well...
Wesley.
So one of the good things that I got to do was I got an invite to the opening of Planet Hollywood, and it was Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes were over, and I was a big baller, and one of the films back in those days was White Men Can't Jump, which was a legendary film. So I happened to be in there that night, and I was going down to the toilet, and Wesley was in this VIP area on his own, like literally on his own. And I kind of walked by, and maybe had a few drinks on me. I says, I know what I'm going to say now. He loved this. He really loved this. It's a bit like someone saying to me now, up the dubs, like just roaring at me. So I just went, Wesley, White Men Can't Jump, like that. And he kind of just looked up at me with this questionable look on him and kind of just put his head down. So, so that was my my confrontation with Wesley.
In the A-list circles went about that far, That's Jason McAteer's story about seeing Jimmy White in a Dublin nightclub one time and being so drunk that he went to him, Jimmy, 108.
Yeah. You can picture him doing it as well.
Yeah, so I think we'll get to a few more stories from the book, of which there are plenty. I think a few of them will probably end up on Balls.ie as well over the next couple of days from what I've been reading. But we'll get on with the quiz.
We'll make it down to the quiz. Wesley Snipes did not win an All-Star in the 90s, I'm nearly sure of it. But get involved in the comments. We're going to start the quiz now. We're going to try and name every All-Star of the 90s. We'll also be giving away a signed copy of Jayo's book to some of the commenters. So the best suggestion, I think, would have to win it. So if you got any obscure calls and they're right, you could win that book. So let's get going.
Right. Okay, we'll play. So first one that comes to mind.
Tommy Dowd.
All the mead lads. Tommy Dowd. We're 4 out of 150 already. Sure, we put in Graham Garrity while we're at it then as well.
Oh yeah.
Get rid of all the mead lads. So
Darren Fay,
Trevor Giles, Darren Fay, who gave you a torrid time from what I've been reading.
John McDermott.
He
would have got one.
There's too many Mead lads here already.
Would Evan Kelly have got an All-Star?
We'll try, and there's bound to be some Kelly. No Kelly's got any All-Stars in all of the 1990s.
In 1997, Dermot McCabe.
Right, so Mark gets his Cavan one in straight
away. Go home.
Go back to me there.
Back to me.
Ollie Murphy.
Ollie Murphy.
We said Trevor, yeah.
Colin O'Rourke in the early years.
Yeah. Bernard Flynn, David Beggy, Martin O'Connell. Who else was in there?
This is great help so far.
Colin Coyle.
You're doing much better than Shay Given did actually so far.
We've got some in the comments as well.
Coyler never got in.
Damien Clancy with a great shout. Seamus Clancy, Damien Coleman with a shout for Seamus Clancy, Clare 1992.
Oh yeah, what a shout. Seamus Moynihan.
Yeah.
All the Seamuses.
94 with Declan Darcy, I got one for Leitrim. I wonder. Did he get
any
one?
chance he's the... No. Declan Darcy surely got an All-Star.
Great, go back to me. Who do we have?
Mickey Linden, I'm just thinking, and James McCartan if we're going to talk 94. No?
Ian, is it? Yeah. Someone will shout here, I saw Thomas McLeod, Joe Brolly.
Joe Brolly?
Who's he?
Never heard of him.
Oh, he got one.
Later on.
Free take of Brian Stafford. I don't know why we're on Mead players.
You're just obsessed with Mead here.
I'm trying to avoid talking about Dublin.
They were in about 6 All-Ireland finals.
Yeah.
We decided to bring you in and talk about Mead's glory years.
Yeah. Mark O'Reilly, another man that marked me.
Mark O'Reilly's there. Yeah. Well, some O'Reilly is anyway.
Right, will we do a few dubs?
We need to go. Yeah, dubs. Let's go.
John O'Leary.
Yeah,
someone was in the comments with that as well.
Keith Barr.
Keith Barr, great stuff.
Kieran Walsh. Did Kieran Walsh?
Curran, I'm going to stick in there. Walsh. There's that Walsh.
Mick Deegan.
Paddy Christie.
Did he get one? I wouldn't have thought so.
Eamon Harry. No.
H-E-E.
Oh. There we go. Sorry, Eamon.
Who else now in the backs? You had Barzy, Adigo.
Galvin.
Tommy Carr.
No. Tommy Carr is in there twice. And Ross Carr, we got 2 for 1 there.
Oh, very good. So then midfield, the Paul Beelan. Probably not Brian Steins.
I'll try Beelan. Steins. Okay.
Davy Foran.
Who else have we got coming in here?
Niall Guyden, did we hear one?
You probably.
Oh, can't spell his name.
Who midfield? Well, Paul Clark played in midfield and in the forwards.
Charlie Redmond, Vinnie Murphy.
Vinnie, Desi Farrell.
Oh, not Vinnie Murphy, Desi Farrell. Good Vinnie Murphy story actually about wearing a t-shirt with your image on it and a straw hat that I think people when they read the book will like.
Kevin O'Brien says Richard Kavanagh.
Kevin O'Brien from Wicklow, and Stephen O'Brien and some other O'Briens as well.
Got here, Paul Curran.
We have Curran already.
Eamon O'Hara says Patrick Donahue.
I think that was later.
Jack Sheedy.
In the 90s. Jack Sheedy's a good shout.
Anthony Malloy. That comes in from
Malloy, alright, yeah.
Well, Donegal, we go Declan Bonner, or Declan Boner.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Martin McHugh said someone here in the comments as well.
And his brother.
All the McHughes. All the McHughes, all the Boyles.
Tony Boyle, he definitely would have got one. Colin Corkery would have been Cork. For Cork.
Is worth a thought here. They won the All Ireland in 1990 as well.
Did Teddy McCarthy get one?
Teddy McCarthy. Oh no! Wow. Okay.
Was it Paul O'Driscoll or John O'Driscoll? He was the full forward.
No O'Driscoll.
No, Larry Tompkins.
John
McDermott. We got McDermott.
Got him, yeah.
We have McDermott in. Henry Downey says Kieran Farrell. Seamus Quinn from Leitrim. There's a couple of shouts for Seamus Quinn from Leitrim.
Yeah.
Okay.
Porrick Joyce going to go. Michael Donlan. Did Ray Silk get one?
Meehan
didn't seemingly. Michael Meehan.
No,
Declan Meehan. No, not there.
David
Sean
Savage. We're struggling here, folks. Is there much?
Plenty of comments coming in though. Tommy Dowd is already in. Seamus Clancy. Gary Walsh from Donegal says.
I have the Walshes, I think.
Yeah, we haven't gone Kerry, so did Maurice Fitz get one in one of the 90s, 97?
96.
Johnny Crowley, he beat us on his own.
Oh no, that was 01 I think, wasn't it?
Mike Frank Russell, any chance?
Was Mike Frank.
He came on the scene in 97, didn't he?
Billy O'Shea, I don't know.
Well, Tomas would he have been around, or maybe Dara?
Surely, I would have thought.
If only we'd done a Sporky quiz and Kerry All-Stars.
None of the O'Sheas, that's a surprise, I have to say. I've got Seamus Moynihan, I think.
Jarlath Burns says Brian McCann. Go back up the north.
Oh, if I could spell it. No.
McGeaney
in 99, I'd say, good call.
Great call. Peter Canavan.
Peter Canavan, we should remember him. I seem to be casting something.
Peter Canavan, we've tried Mike Frank Russell.
Yes,
we've got Trevor Giles in already, haven't we? Steve McDonald would have been too early for him.
Some more down Derry lads. Who were the Anthony Toll?
So Ross Carr, DJ Kane.
That's Kane,
Conor Deegan.
Oh, mate. No,
Is
Conor.
it Barry Burns? Greg Blaney.
Yes, Blaney. What a footballer.
Potentially Peter Whitnell.
I'll struggle with that name.
James McCartan and Gregory McCartan.
Yeah, got the McCartans.
You have them.
On the subject of Kerry, Palade, says Dennis Creedon, who was definitely one because we haven't.
Palade, yeah.
Who 91? That was down as well. Down Derry, down Donegal, Derry, down Dublin.
Bradley spinner and Patsy Bradley.
No, they wouldn't have been. Tell me, late 90s, who won? I kind of blocked that.
So we've Galway won All Ireland, Meath won their second one, and
Kerry
97 was Kerry, kind of from nowhere. So we have some Mayo lads from
Mayo,
they were in
James
two finals. James Horan, Liam McHale,
Kieran McDonald,
surely.
Kevin Mortimer, maybe.
Yeah, Mortimer would have.
Yeah, Kenneth Mortimer, 97.
Martin Lynch from Kildare and Bishop Kavanagh.
Martin Lynch, yes, and Buckley.
Buxer, yeah. Did Dermot Early, would he have been?
Early won one in 98, great stuff. Glenn Ryan.
Yeah, Anthony Rainbow, maybe.
Anthony Rainbow, surely. If I could spell it. Anthony Rainbow. Oh, maybe 2000 was his year.
When did Wheelo come along? Oh, yeah, Kieran Whelan would have been.
Yeah, someone just came in the comments with Whelan there who suggested that Michael Carrick says in 1999 Kieran Whelan.
What about some goalkeepers? We've John O'Leary, but I don't think we've anybody else. Who was the down goalkeeper? Oh, God, big, huge guy.
Oh, who was in for Kerry as well? O'Keefe?
Oh, Declan O'Keefe was in goal for Kerry.
He surely won it in 97. No.
Yeah, he's in there, yeah. I just...
Anthony Toll, did we put
Anthony Toll's in,
yeah.
We've Brawley in. I think they're the only two from Derry. There's probably a few more of them.
We've got Dermot McKay.
Sean Marty Lockhart.
Oh yeah, good show.
Fergal McClusker says Patrick Quinn.
Oh yeah, McCusker.
Cusker?
No, well, sorry.
Have we got all the dubs now? I'll be giving out.
You'll be in big trouble here. You've 3.5 minutes to make sure you don't miss Dublin All Ireland.
No, I was going to say a name. I'm glad I didn't. Oh, well, he would
Barney Rock.
No, he was 91. He finished. He didn't play. Who else was there at that time? You have Jack. Charlie, you put in, did you, Charlie?
Yeah,
Redmond?
Charlie's in there, yeah.
You have Clarkey, you have Cordner. I don't think there was any more. There was certainly not many the late 90s. So it was just Wheelo.
We have Tommy Dowd, Peter Canavan, Charlie. It's not a bad full forward line, actually. I still would have had you in there, you know. I don't know if Tommy did enough.
A couple more shouts from the comments as well. We've got Pat Fallon. Who else have we got? John Cairns, Gary Walsh.
Gary Walsh was the Donegal keeper.
Yeah. We're missing a right half forward from 95 and we're missing the two cornerbacks from 95.
Well, Kieran O'Sullivan might have got it in 95.
Oh, good shout.
Got it in 99 anyway.
Well, Graham Gertie and Kerner were the two wing backs in 95. Was it Kieran Corr was the captain of Tyrone? I don't know whether he got an All-Star.
Oh God.
Seamus Moynihan.
Yeah, have Moynihan in.
Yeah.
God, we've only got 98 here. I was hoping for at least 100.
Yeah, there are a lot of comments coming in here though. Who we got?
Come on, Mark.
Tony Scullion.
Good
shout from Jarrett Slane.
Okay, right. That's
three.
three.
That's three. Palade is in.
Really impressive.
Walsh Daly. We put in Daly from Offaly.
No, he's in there now though.
Faye Devlin. Says Jarrett Slane again.
Spelled Devlin.
D-L-I-N.
Yes. Would Vinnie Claffey have got one then?
Vinnie Claffey in 97 maybe, no.
Oh, no.
Roy Malone.
I was going to say who was the guy who got all those scores.
Robbie O'Malley says Patrick Ash.
O'Malley.
Yeah.
Okay, we're up to 105 now.
Did Nestor there was a Nestor for Meath and a Mayo Nestor. Did you get
Nigel Nestor, wasn't it?
Yeah, no.
No, doesn't seem to be.
96. Who won at 96?
Hank
Meath.
Trainer, would he have got one?
Jar Fallon, we put in Fallon, didn't we?
Oh, I don't know if we did put in Fallon, we forgot.
Jazz the man.
There we go.
Colin O'Brien.
93, Derry played Cork in the final.
Yeah.
Did Mark O'Connor get one?
Mark O'Connor, I think I put in for Alan O'Connor earlier. He may have it, we may have already got him.
Shay Fahey. Stephen O'Brien. Stephen O'Brien, surely, no?
I think we had Kevin O'Brien, so maybe he got one that time as well.
Right.
McHale, we have
who else have we got here?
Connor Coonahan.
Thomas Reid would have won one.
That's a great shout from 1990.
No, God, Dave Barry. Did Dave Barry get an All-Star?
Probably in 89 is the only problem there.
Dinny Allen.
No. Where are all these Cork lads?
Stuart Deasy. Oh, someone came in with a great one. Slocum from Cork.
DC's in. Slocum.
Yeah.
Spell that.
Slocum. Oh, what a shout.
What a man. Oh, there's some of those early years Cork teams that I'm forgetting, but...
Joe Kavanagh. We've got Kavanagh's in, haven't we? Carr's in. Tony Boyle.
We have Kavanagh. There, Joe Kavanagh, good man.
Joe Kavanagh, that's Patrick Ash. Tony Boyle.
Yeah, we have the Boyles, yeah.
John Kearns, Paul, who else have we got? McGrath, Shea Fahy.
Throw in McGrath. There we go, Paul McGrath, 1990.
Yeah.
Good year for
Walsh,
Paul McGrath.
Walsh,
Walsh, yeah.
Murphy.
Murphy's sorry, yeah.
Conor Coonahan.
Was there another Sherlock? No, there we go.
Oh,
we're out of
done.
time. John Kearns, I forgot, right?
Kearns, someone
Conor
just shouted
Coonahan
Kearns
is there. I
Yeah,
spelled his
spelled
name
it
wrong.
wrong.
We're going to give
Shea Fahy, we had
here.
him.
Right,
he spelled wrong as well.
So, yeah, fair to say we've made a balls of this, but...
wasn't bad, now, 112.
And the Gormley we should be getting, fair to say.
Someone did comment with Gormley, to be fair.
There's James McCartan is spelt wrong there because we got him elsewhere.
Finbar McConnell is the Tyrone goalie.
That's right, yeah.
That's right.
Paddy Reynolds with the Mead men in the office won't be too happy with forgetting him. It doesn't look James Nallen, Pat Holmes, a lot of John Joe Doherty. I don't think we missed the dub.
Well, that's good. That's something.
That's very, very important here. It seems to me that we didn't miss a dub.
Well, considering we only won one from 95 to 99, Kieran Whelan.
Considering also we spend most of the time thinking of Mead lads, we missed a lot of Mead fellas.
I should have got Brian Lacey.
Brendan Riley.
Brian Lacey got an all there because of his marking me, so
right,
I should have got him. Who else? I saw a name there. I should have got
Carlo Dwyer. We probably should have got
Declan Brown, Tipperary class.
Yeah. Declan Brown. Sure. Yeah. Of course.
Wasn't bad though. Johnny McGurk scored the winning point against Dublin in '93.
Yeah.
Should have got him.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So if we'd got there was a couple of Breens there. So look, we got 112 out of 150. James McCartan was spelled wrong, so that's 113.
And Shea Fahy.
I couldn't spell Fahy or Coonahan, so it's 114.
I'm not competitive or anything.
No, I think that's not too bad, you know.
And there were a few in the comments as well. I saw Pat Holmes one we just hadn't gotten around to, and John Kearns as well. So there was a few we could have got, and then the Gormley, to be fair, someone said it. I forgot.
Yeah. So we'll have to do it again sometime, I think, and maybe get a little bit more out of it. Can I ask you a couple of more questions about the book?
Absolutely.
Outside of Wesley Snipes and being on having Jason Sherlock t-shirts and being on Jerry Ryan shows with Mr. Pussy, whatever that is, I don't know. But I don't know, like, it seems to me that the story goes, so it's like there was a couple of years there where maybe the focus was lost a little bit kind of after 95 and stuff like that, but it kind of quickly comes back to where winning another All-Ireland with Dublin becomes this kind of basically an obsession with you. What sort of change, or what was the sort of catalyst for, right, enough's enough now, I need to get back to what got me there in the first place?
Well, there was a few things, I suppose. We all, as we get older, we get a bit wiser. There was a lot of, as much as it was great 95 and the positivity, there was a lot of criticism and negativity, in a lot of cases rightly so. So I think for a few years I was fueled by that acceptance. I enjoyed being in circles that people just saw me as one of them. But that did change to become, I had ambitions as a sports person, and again, my role models would have been the likes of your Roy Keanes and the Tony McCoys of this world. I could see how obsessive they were, and that was what I aspired to be, and I kind of tried to go about things then in an obsessive way, in a lot of ways too obsessive, but I really tried to get the most out of what I had for those years.
Yeah, because one of the things that me and Mark were talking about this morning was, and I haven't read this, is like I didn't realise you'd played centre forward for Dublin as early as 2000. I thought that came a little bit later, but for me, you kind of like almost reinventing yourself as a footballer in those years as well, kind of for me coincides with, I think you'd be a better footballer. Is that something that you would agree, that it did later in your career you were actually a better player all round rather than the explosive kind of goal getter? Well,
in my own head, I continued to play until I stopped improving. I always believed right up until May 2013 I was becoming a better player. That was the attitude I had. I always said in my head, I'll stop the day I don't think I'm improving. So there was times, obviously the Dublin team of 95 totally changed in those years, and my role with the team changed, and ultimately I just wanted Dublin to be successful, and there was a time then when Tommy came in that he tried me out in centre forward. So I think Kildare in the Leinster final was the first time that happened. And really, all I wanted to do was just to help the team in whatever way I could. So I kind of went from that kind of corner forward that was liable to get a goal to being more of a playmaker and trying to provide for other guys. And my skill set to do that improved with the practice and the kind of repetition I had with my kicking and all that. Because the one thing I had a low benchmark in terms of my skill set, so I'd loads of room to improve, and I'd like to think the older I got and the more I played, the better I got as a technical footballer anyway.
You've had great success in recent years. How is it different, the success you're having now as compared to when you were a player, like just the experience you were having?
I hear a lot about players say, you'll never replicate the buzz and all that, and I agree with that to a certain extent, but I played a lot of basketball when I was younger, and in those games it was about kind of knowing what each other is doing and kind of getting the best out of your players and all that. So I probably had that mindset as a player, and I've just applied that to being a coach. Like, I just want to get the best out of all our players. So I'm really inspired by that, seeing guys playing as a team and all that. So I get as much satisfaction as I did, obviously, Dean kicking a free in an All-Ireland final. I was with development squads yesterday and seeing those guys figuring things out for themselves. I get a great kick out of that as well.
Would you say, like, is it really as much a kick then, just like seeing things? It could be, you know, like you say, in any game, just with a development squad, compared to just the actual success of winning an Ireland final. It's more just the mechanics of it and the tactics of it, and seeing that rather than just simply winning.
Well, that's one thing that if you read the book, you'll see that as a player I had a very superficial way of how I judged my career. It was either we won or we lost. I was either a success or I was a failure. Now, years reflecting on it, I can see that there were so many traits from playing, be it the resilience piece, building up the character, the camaraderie we had in the book, and like every year we tried to do something different to get us over the line. So all of those things I now look at as really positive traits, and they're going to be the foundations of my coaching moving forward.
Can I ask you if you think, just because there's obviously the pull between basketball early on, but later kind of like soccer and football at a pretty high level, and you obviously did have hopes, and there's people telling you in terms of like making it as a soccer player. Regardless of which one you would have ended going up with, do you ever wish you went with one or the other earlier? Or do you feel like that you probably could have achieved more, say, in soccer if you hadn't had the gap?
Yeah, it's a tough one, because I suppose we're a sum of all our parts, we're a sum of all our experiences. So it would be unfair to kind of say, well, take that out and add in this. The reality is that's what it was, and like you do get a sense when you read it how crazy it was. There was particularly kind of 94, 95, where I came from and where I ended up. It's just a quite unique kind of sporting career, so you get a good flavour of that in the book. So again, the soccer thing was always there, and it was always kind of referred upon, and we talk about it in the book. Again, in my head, the only time, looking back now, the only time where I potentially could have become a soccer player was the night after we just won the All-Ireland. I met Kevin Moran in I think it was the Burlington, or was it Jury's Hotel, and if Kevin had said, right, there's your plane ticket, you're going first thing in the morning over to Anfield, maybe that might have been a different path. But the reality was, unfortunately, my motivation changed after we won. I was happy just to be accepted, and because of that, my sporting kind of career kind of stalled. It probably went backwards, and it's nice. We all like to have it could have been a contender story, so that's probably mine, that things could have been different at that stage.
Yeah, the rest of us can't really say it with a straight face. But
Dave Daly's in the comments, he said, ask us what player from his day would he think could improve the Dubs today? If you could bring a player from your era into the current Dublin team.
Well, John O'Leary, we're lacking a good keeper, really. No, Ginny, like again, it's so hard to kind of compare eras and all that, because the game changes and all that. With the hobnailers kicking the 60 yards, 70 yards. But there's so many players. But there's some guys, in terms of their talent, you could see that they could play in any era, and probably Diarmuid Connolly obviously comes to mind in terms of the current edition. Probably Paul Curran in terms of talent was a really talented player back when I started out. But it's very hard to kind of judge players on like the time that they were playing in. They were a great team then, and obviously we've a great team now at the moment.
Can I ask you the last question? There's a lot in here about, after Jayo Mania, as we called it, and trying to win that second All-Ireland with Dublin, and in the Tommy Carr years, but more importantly the Tommy Lyons years and the Peter Caffrey years before you finished up. There was an awful lot of hype surrounding Dublin back then. Tommy Lyons didn't really shy away from it, as we were saying earlier. This was at this stage of your career that you didn't really want to have anything to do with that. That was it. Do you think that costs Dublin ultimately? Like you mentioned in here about doing the lap of honour after beating Donegal in a quarter final. That's just one example of like Armagh were looking at that and ready for it. But do you think as a general thing that, if you were a bit more kind of the way the team is now, you could have achieved more? Yeah,
again, there's no right or wrong with sport. There's no magic formula. Like it's very hard to kind of pick someone and say, oh, that was the difference. What I'd like to think, it gives you a good snapshot of what we did, how we did it. Now, to me, at the time, it was right for us at the time. Obviously, you can look at it now and say, well, obviously the lads aren't doing much of that now, so maybe that's the difference. But the one thing both teams have in common was that they wanted to play, they wanted to win for Dublin. They were very proud to do it. And just because this team are successful, it doesn't diminish what effort the players, the team that I played with during the late 90s, the 90's, it doesn't diminish their levels of commitment and the kind of camaraderie and the bond that we had. So again, it's how you measure success. Like sports people, they're naturally inclined to measure on what they win and what they lose. But at this stage in my life, I understand there's a lot more to it. To have friends that I had when I played in the 90s and the 2000s and now, that to me is more important than any of the medals that I did or didn't get.
Yeah. That's Jayo, my autobiography. We'll get Jason to sign this now. And
yeah, we're going to give it to Jareth Slane. He was one of the most helpful people in the comments. So Jareth, that copy is
cool. Well done, Jareth.
Yeah, he probably gave us Jaff Allen, did he?
I think he might have been. He gave us a lot.
But we'll get to there's so much in that book that we haven't even scratched the surface of, like of your time growing up and everything else as well. But it's a really brilliant read. Like, congratulations on it.
Brilliant, thanks, Mick. Yeah.
It's available in all good bookstores, and we will be back again soon with another Sparkle quiz. And best of luck, Jason. Hope the book goes well.
Cheers, thanks, Mark.